Russian forces have begun deploying modified T-72 and T-80 tanks, fitted with extensive anti-drone structures made of thick metal cables, according to the Telegram channel Vodohrai, which published photos of the vehicles. The images show T-80BVM and T-72B3 models equipped with mine plows, TMTK and KMT7 respectively, and covered with dense overhead grille frameworks wrapped in steel cables. The cables extend across the upper, rear and partially frontal areas of the tanks, even enclosing the suspension systems. One of the photographed T-80BVM units also carries an electronic warfare system mounted above the cable armor. According to Vodohrai, these reinforced structures are intended to interfere with first-person view drones increasingly used by Ukrainian forces on the front lines. Unlike earlier grille or shed armor designs, these cable domes, dubbed hedgehogs by Russian troops, aim to damage drone propellers, entangle their frames, and prevent detonation of their explosive payloads upon impact. However, the modification adds significant weight and bulk to the tanks, potentially affecting maneuverability and field maintenance. Earlier, Russian troops were filmed welding dozens of sharp metal spikes onto old UAZ 452 vans, a makeshift Hedgehog design meant to detonate Ukrainian FPV drones on contact. The improvised armor reflects Russia's growing reliance on field-engineered solutions. As drones continue to dominate the front lines, the spikes act as a passive defense, hoping to trigger the explosive payload of an incoming drone on contact with the external armor. The idea is to destroy the drone before a direct hit to the vehicle's hull. Despite the unconventional appearance, the makeshift modification reflects a growing trend of improvised defense tactics on both sides of the front. As FPV drones continue to dominate low-altitude airspace, simple vehicles like the UAZ 452 have become vulnerable targets. The Russian military's reliance on such outdated platforms, combined with limited access to active protection systems, is prompting increasingly improvised field solutions. According to Jumpy's analysis of pre-war depot inventories versus what has been taken out for repair and deployment, Russia has recovered and returned to service 4,800 tanks out of an estimated 7,342 kept in storage before the war. The most commonly reactivated models include T-80B/BV, T-72B, and T-62. Modern models have been brought back in far smaller numbers: T-90, T-80U-UD, and T-72 Ural/A. The T-64 family also shows relatively few returns. From an estimated 7,723 BMP-class IFVs stored pre-war, Jumpy reports 4,931 have been mobilized for use, leaving only a small proportion of truly serviceable spares in depots. Artillery inventories have thinned as well. Of roughly 23,602 pre-war artillery pieces, some 14,483 have been recovered for use, and an estimated 39% of the original stock now remains in storage. MLRS figures are similarly stressed. Jumpy counts 29 BM-30 SMERSH systems reactivated out of 43,235 Uragan out of 472 and 1,027 Grad systems out of 1,068, leaving roughly 18% of pre-war MLRS stocks still present in storage. Russia has exhausted more than half of its stored armored and artillery reserves and is increasingly relying on older, degraded vehicles and cannibalized parts to sustain formations. The small number of tanks in decent depot condition and the large share of units described as irrecoverable limits how rapidly Moscow can replace combat losses without fresh imports or a major domestic ramp-up in production and overhaul capacity. Recall, Ukrainian steppes are littered with downed Russian tanks.
Belgium's defense minister expressed concern on Monday about a series of unidentified drone flights over the weekend near a military base where U.S. nuclear weapons are stored, saying that they seem to be part of a spying operation. According to Associated Press, Defense Minister Theo Franken confirmed that drones had flown into the area near the Klein Brogel Air Base in northeast Belgium in 2 phases on Saturday and Sunday night. The first phase involved small drones to test the radio frequencies of Belgian security services, then later came big drones to destabilize the area and people, Franken told public broadcaster RTBF. It resembles a spy operation. By whom, I don't know. I have a few ideas, but I'm going to be careful about speculating, he said. Last month, several drones were spotted above another Belgian military base near the German border. The operators were not identified. Russia has been blamed for a number of airspace violations, notably in Estonia and Poland, in recent months. But the perpetrators of a series of mysterious drone flights in Denmark and Germany have been harder to pin down. A late-evening drone sighting at Berlin's Brandenburg airport on Friday suspended flights for nearly 2 hours. It was not clear who was responsible. Franken ruled out that the weekend drone flights in Belgium might have been a prank. He said that the security services jammer didn't work because they tested our radio frequency, and they changed frequency. They have their own frequencies. An amateur doesn't know how to do that. Asked why it wasn't possible to shoot the drones down, Franken said, "When they're over a military base we can shoot the drones down. When it's nearby, we have to be very careful because they can fall on a house, a car, a person. That's completely different. This can pose legal challenges too. It's not entirely clear. We have to clarify the legal grounds," he said. Franken lamented that Belgium is chasing after the threat posed by such drone flights. "We should have bought air defense systems 5 or 10 years ago that can deal with drones," he said.